Hello, I'm James, and this is my Breaking the Mold story. I grew up in a Christian family, and this is kind of rare because I grew up in Taiwan. And about 40 years ago, when I was growing up, being a Christian in Taiwan, that's kind of a rarity, where all your neighbors are either in Buddhism, Taoism, or just practicing a lot of ancestor worship. And also in that culture, there's something else that kind of comes along with it. It's how you identify yourself, who you are and what you're worth. And it's usually tied to a few things. One of the things is what kind of family that you're coming from. I mean, did your family have a history of being successful? And there's a couple other things that ties it with it, about who you are, is about, what you have done, what degrees that you have earned, in, what accomplishment. So, having those two different, value in my head, there's a little bit of struggle because, even when I was a young kid, I do believe that, it doesn't matter what happened, God will always love me. But at the same time, I have this cultural influence on me about how I'm going to identify myself. Who am I, in other words. So there's a couple of events that happened in my life that kind of shook that up a little bit. First thing is that when I was 9 years old, my dad died at a very young age. And with that, my mom just couldn't really reconcile, why would God took away such a godly person away from our lives. So we left the church. So as we left the church, life seems to just kind of go on as if, it took my mom some time to really, to stop blaming God, but still, life just kind of went on. And the second thing was actually when I was about 11 to 12, we had an opportunity to actually immigrate here in U.S. And to a would-be junior higher, that was a culture shock. So when I got here, the search of identity continued. I kind of banded together with a group of kids that are recent immigrants. So we kind of, we don't speak the language. We kind of smell funny sometimes with the herbal medicine that your parents cook at home and stuff like that. And I kind of expected to be treated differently in finding myself. But what was shocking to me was actually there's another group of Chinese, that are American-born Chinese, that really looked down on us. And that was just a big shock. And through those experiences, I started to kind of, trying to fit in, trying to find my identity. So all through high school, as I actually started to lose my accent, I actually started denying that I actually spoke a word of Mandarin in trying to find myself. And God, gave me some ability in terms of, being athletic, so I started getting into sports teams, started being, hang out with the cool kids, and that started to kind of define me. And it's not until I got into college, my mom actually, through our next door neighbor, got her back to church, and I went along with her, kind of at arm's length, and I got involved with the youth group there. And it's not until that time that I actually observed a lot of the kids there. There's just something different about them. They were just full of joy. They were just on fire for God. And what's different is that they actually embraced their Chinese culture. And those kids, they're about probably on average 4 or 5 years younger than me, but they taught me so much. And God, through them, actually allowed me to finally realize that my identity is that I'm a child of God, that I'm part of His family, and my worth, and amazingly, is that my worth is worth the King of Kings dying on the cross for me. And it's been a long journey. Even today, I still get reminded, every day, that my worth is not, the car I drive, the house I own, the family that seems to be all together. He continues to remind me that my identity is that I'm a child of God, and that I'm worth dying for by the King of Kings. Isn't that just amazing? So thanks for listening to my story.